We need to talk about the 90s. The 90s, yes, arguably the last great decade to ever exist. Why? We had colorful everything. We had no internet or some internet. A lot of us didn't have internet. We also had the abundance of time, freedom, and just being able to do whatever we wanted, as well as some of the best movies, games, TV shows, toys, anything you could think of came out in the 90s, and we're going to talk about it. Let's get into it. Anytime people talk about the 90s, they get that nostalgic feel because everything was warm, everything was green. I love that green color that came about in the 90s. You figure Ford Explorers, couches, leaves on your walls, paint colors, everything was that beautiful form of emerald green that is coming back, and I'm very happy about that. However, more came to it. There was just everything that you could possibly do. Kids today will say things like, oh, we have it so much better. We have internet, we've got the TikToks, we've got the Instagrams, we've got the Facebooks. We didn't have any of that, and that's what made it beautiful. We had things like Game Boys. We had things like Nintendo 64, lava lamps, Magic 8 balls, things that just took more time to learn and things that took more time to enjoy. Not instant loading and having everything available at your fingertips. It just wasn't that way back then. So let's get into the nitty-gritty. When I think of the 90s, being I had a full decade in the 90s and dare I say 6 months of the 80s under my belt, I think of things like the toys that came about and how great and colorful the stores were, the restaurants were. Go to any McDonald's, Wendy's, Taco Bell now. Everything's gray, looks like a prison, shouldn't be there. Back then there was hamburger stools. They had Nintendo 64s. You could walk into any store in McDonald's or it could be a Toys R Us. They had these controllers hooked up to demo versions of games, and you could play them as long as you wanted to. I mean, I'm sure there was a line of kids waiting to get there, but you could play these for free while you were getting your McDonald's Happy Meal or while you were shopping for things at Toys R Us or being told, hey, we can't get that today. No problem, we'll get it maybe next time. That was just the way it was, and everybody was happier about it. We had hacky sacks. Hacky sacks are starting to make a comeback as well, and I think that's something we'll get into a little bit later in the video, is the things that are making a comeback, because everybody wants to have that good, warm feeling again, and they're tired of feeling like they're prisoners or they have to do their 9 to 5 and come home and live their lives that way. Granted, sometimes you have to do that, that's part of life. However, you can still have that warm feeling and maybe just a little bit of nostalgia by looking at some of the things we're about to talk about. One thing we all know about the 90s is that everything was so bright and vibrant and it was loud. There were things like, yeah, these Disney pens, as well as the Genie mug. Yeah, take in the Genie mug. These Disney pens were the shapes of Mickeys, they were the shapes of different animals and characters, and they just felt cool. When you used them, you were like, hey, look, I went to Disney, if you were lucky enough to go to Disney. But even if you weren't, I'm sure you could find them, or some family member probably brought them back from a vacation for you, and then you just saw them and said, I have to have more of them. Here I am at 36, and I'm still collecting these. Why? Because I love them, and they make me feel like being young again. Not to mention the fact they're just available, because the 90s is coming back in a slow way where we're able to see certain things like the outfits, the clothing, some of the cars are making comebacks. I mean, now they're called classic and vintage cars, which makes me want to throw up. But all of this is slowly making a comeback because the corporate America era is going to slowly start diminishing. It'll always be there. But I think what we're starting to see is these younger generations like mine that are coming up and saying, let's bring it back to what it was before. Now you might be saying to yourself, but what if I don't want it that way? And to that I say, too bad, I can't hear you. I have a Will Smith Getting Jiggy With It CD in my CD player, and I got the bass boost on high. But it's not even about the toys, sure. You know, if we're gonna talk about toys, Buzz Lightyear's the coolest thing that ever came about. Or maybe you're just sitting there looking at the sky, looking at one of these things. Still don't know what they're called, but they've got all the glitter and all of the water in them. Or maybe, just maybe, somebody makes you mad enough you pull out one of these bad boys. They're not going to have a chance when it comes to that. But when it comes to other things like just getting out and seeing all of your old stores or all of your old places you used to hang out that are abandoned. They're Spirit Halloweens probably at this point, or Ocean State job lots. I don't know what this is, but I've always loved them, and I'll always have them. Another topic we need to talk about with the 90s is the movies. All of the movies were so bright and brilliant and colorful, and they had all of the top actors in them, and it was before all the political stuff where everybody has to make a statement in a movie and they have to make their points known. All there was entertainment and making people happy. And maybe even, dare I say, one of the best Batmans to ever happen, Batman Forever. Yeah, that was one of the best Batmans. You can come at me if you want to, but I'm gonna tell you, look at the movie, watch it again. Sure, it's corny, sure it's not the 1989 Michael Keaton Batman, but that Batmobile was elite. The colors in that, the vibrancy, the neon, it was perfect. And Val Kilmer was a fantastic Batman. Another topic we need to talk about was the music of the 90s. The music of the 90s was just perfection. There's a reason there are dedicated channels on like Sirius XM, and sometimes you'll find radio stations on the FM radio, if you can still find them, that are dedicated to the 90s, also other decades, 80s, 70s, and so on. But that music was just life-changing and generational. You had bands like Pearl Jam, Nirvana, Oasis, the Gin Blossoms, people like Mariah Carey, putting out music that is still listened to daily by so many people, myself included, because it felt good and it was music that was wholesome, and it was actually real-made music, not this AI stuff that you're seeing today, and music that all sounds the same by just different people. There's a reason that these guitars behind me are there, because music has always changed me and it's influenced my life. The 70s was a big part of my life as well, not because of my age or anything, but because of the music I listened to because of my parents. There's a reason those are there as well. The Eagles are down there for a reason, because of those bands. But the 90s was also one of those feel-good, really peppy ska music that would just change your life with trumpets and different kinds of horns in the backgrounds. It was awesome, it was the best, and there's a reason that it's still being played today. So what I'm getting at is, don't give up on everything. Always have that little bit of nostalgia no matter what anybody thinks about it. This is my office. My office has things like koosh balls in it. It's got pogs in it. Why? Because it makes me happy. It makes me think about those good times when everything was carefree, everything was perfect, and we were able to just have fun and be together, and we could do whatever we wanted to. Granted, it was much easier when you're a kid. It's just that way of growing up. However, you can still have that by just having a little bit of color, a little bit of fun, and a little bit of brightness in your life, which just makes your day better. Heat up and bubble! So sure, things might seem bleak at times, and maybe you think these are just material items, but maybe at the end of the day, this would be enough just to get you a little bit happier and to where you say, you know what? I actually had a really good time, and I'm looking forward to having a good time for the rest of the time I'm here. These things will help. And going around and seeing those places that you used to hang out at, and seeing those places that you used to take time with and spend time with family or just had fun. Maybe those places, even though they're still not the places they used to be, can still give you that little bit of a remember when kind of feeling. With all that being said, I hope that this video could serve as a little bit of a happiness takeaway for a little bit, even if it was only a short video of looking back into some really fun times. I had a really great time putting this together because it put together everything that I love. I mean, lava lamps, all of the fun things, toys, materials, everything, music, movies. It was just a lot of fun to think about. And I'm happy to do a deep dive into certain topics, whether it be the toys of the 90s, the movies of the 90s, maybe locations that are no longer things like Toys R Us, Top Dogs, and so on. Happy to do all that, but this was just a start. This was something to do and something to talk about, and like I said, had a really fun time making it, and maybe we'll do one for the 2000s, but I appreciate you watching the videos. If you really like the videos, let me know, or you could hit like. Remember, all of this is free. This is just something for me to do on the side and to have some fun with. And there's other videos down below if you wanted to check those out too. Car museums, Daytona, little things like that. Now, we are doing another video. My wife and I are actually going to go and do filming of one of the last, I think maybe it might be the last Pizza Hut Classic in Pennsylvania. So that'll come out probably in the next week or so. We're just going to go have some dinner there and maybe take a look through and walk around. So if you like them, let me know. If you don't like them, you can let me know as well. But appreciate you checking them out. Please, as always, come back, watch some future ones, and have a great day.